Amazon Studios' new movie Shotgun Wedding, starring Jennifer Lopez and Josh Duhamel, as a couple that gets cold feet once their families arrive to their destination wedding. This comedy flick shows everything that could go wrong leading up to their big day. Here to help us make sure your big day is absolutely perfect, owners of LK Events, Lauren Rosem and Carolyn Flickinger. Glad to have you both here with me. We were talking before. I've been engaged for a few months now, so I'm like right in the thick of trying to find all the top tips for brides to make sure that your dream day goes as planned and as you hope. Let's just start with talking top tips that you have for your brides when they're planning their wedding.
Great question.
Great question. Yeah.
So we always suggest to our couples that when they start planning that they spend a lot of time not only thinking about the big things, everyone asks you, when are you getting married? What's your budget? What are your colors? Yes, all of those things are very important. The first thing to determine is really your guest list and your budget. Kind of at the same time, those two things play in really closely with one another. The budget is very much sort of dictated by how many people and what you're looking to accomplish. So really understanding sort of those foundational elements of what you're looking to do with your wedding and how you're wanting to celebrate that marriage is really what you're going to need to do to get started.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what should a timeline look like for someone who maybe just got engaged or anticipates they're going to be getting engaged soon? What should the timeline look like? You mentioned that one of the first things that you're going to do is deciding kind of your guest list and your budget. What's just a brief overview of where you'd go from there?
Absolutely. So we, on the onset of our beginning of our planning process, we will actually break out that planning schedule for our clients, specifically tailored to them. So what we generally do is talk to them about their preferences, of course, and ideas and overall wedding vision. And then we'll work on their timeline, their planning timeline. Of course, there are certain things that need to be done at the beginning, like your budget development and management, your guest list, finalizing that, of course, your wedding date and your venue. From there, we'll start the vendor selection process. And usually within the first 3 months, your main key vendors are booked. And then after that, it's kind of the fun part. It's all the fun part, but it's the fun part in terms of doing your catering tasting and looking at your design, decor, doing your floral sample, which is basically your mock-up. So all of those things will happen in conjunction with kind of your design and menu and food and beverage development process. And then all of our final meetings happen a couple months before the wedding, and then it's kickoff time. So we basically kind of lay the groundwork at the beginning of the planning process so you have a good idea of what to expect and what to plan for throughout the planning process.
If someone has been kind of spearheading this on their own, say a bride has been thinking, I think I can handle this for now, and then they reach a point where they're just like, okay, this is a lot. At what point does a planner come into the picture?
I'll go.
Good question.
So there are a lot of different kinds of planners, not only, locally, but sort of that you'll see throughout the country and even throughout the world. There are sort of different types and tiers of service. So you might hear the term a day of planner or wedding coordinator. That is somebody who's typically going to start a little bit more before than just the day. So hopefully a couple of months, they can really get up to speed and understand what's going on. And then that goes all the way up from there to full planning. And that's really what we focus on at our company. We will work with our couples from start to finish. So a lot of the times, actually, our couples are calling us before they're even engaged.
Yeah.
They know that it's coming and that there's a lot that they want to do to prepare. They want to make sure that they are getting the dates and the venues and the vendor teams, photographers, bands, things along those lines that they really have in mind, or we can help them to determine what the perfect people to service their weddings are going to be. So in terms of full planning, that's sort of how that works from the onset. You were asking about a bride that perhaps, or a groom, that feels like I've got it under control. And then maybe things change, or the support system that they had changes, or the vision of their event has changed and they need to bring in a planner. And you'll hear the term partial planning brought in, and that kind of just encompasses everything that's not full planning. So that can be sort of, we've got the venue, we've got the date, but now we're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Or they can even further down the process and they find themselves really at a crossroads with the decor planning or catering planning and sort of those bigger components that can be a little overwhelming. So there is a planner that is out there that specializes in exactly what you're looking for. And it sometimes takes a couple of calls, sometimes spending, on the websites, on Instagram, just to really see what people do, what they specialize in, so that you're hiring the right planner for your needs and your service and their services.
Absolutely. Well, I know there's so many factors that go into planning a wedding. It can be overwhelming, but it's also such an exciting and joyful season. So I could totally see the benefit of having someone by your side the whole time, kind of helping your vision come to life while keeping in that budget and getting all the things checked off that you need to at the correct time. You guys are a wealth of knowledge, a joy to talk to as well. Thank you so much for your time today. There's a look at their website if you are interested in checking them out or just learning some more wedding tips that maybe you want to keep in mind for a loved one or if you're planning a wedding. And we'll also connect you with more wedding tips over on our website, CILiving.tv.